I'd like to do a series of videos on working with spirit and what life is like as a medium and a light worker. I'm going to call it Whitedove's Spirit Whispers, and I've got the intention of making a lot of videos because I've worked with spirit since I was really young and I've had some amazing experiences, and I just thought I'd like to share those and hopefully someone gets something out of them. I've had manifestations of spirit. I've just worked with it for at least 40 years, although it did start when I was younger. And I've just been developing it as I go, and I now teach and also work with many different aspects of the spiritual path and spirit. So my first one today, I would like to talk about spirit guides, because when I look back, I don't think I would have got through a lot of things in my life without knowing my guides and knowing them personally. And the first time a guide ever appeared to me, I think I was about 19, and I was very distressed about something that had happened in my life then. And my beautiful guide, she put her hand on my shoulder in the middle of the night, sat on my bed, and she just comforted me like nothing I've ever felt. So I realised then quite early that working with guides is a wonderful, wonderful gift. I now do work with the angels as well, but I'll talk about that in another video. But they did make their appearance to me quite young. So when I was younger, I went through a lot of development courses. I used to sit with the old mediums and they taught me. And I'm always grateful for what they taught me and the way they taught me, because they were really amazing and wonderful teachers to have in my early days. And I remember one of them saying that, "Oh, you'll be doing what we're doing for the rest of your life." And I didn't really believe it at that age, but anyhow it did come true. So I did a lot of development, a lot of groups, a lot of things happened during that time. In the early days, my guides were teaching me how to recognise their vibrations. And so what they used to do, they would give me a different sensation. One of the sensations was goosebumps all over. Usually that's a yes when I see that. Also confirmation. If someone tells me the truth, they still do that today. If someone's telling me an absolute truth, they'll goosebump me all over, and I know that their words are true. They've also given me different vibrations because I've got a lot of different guides for the work that I've done. One of them being a cool breeze below the knees, and that's nothing like when you get a horrible cold energy. When you're somewhere that's got negative energy, it's actually quite nice. And one of them will touch me on the shoulder. One of them will touch my hair, the top of my hair or the back of my head. And that's how they got me to recognise who was with me in the spirit world. And that took a while to do that, but it really was wonderful teaching. They were so amazing. I would see apples just move in the fruit bowl, like go around the whole fruit bowl, and there was no visible presence there. They would do things like that. Working with your guides is not a fearful experience. I've done a lot of rescue work of souls in my later years, and I don't really have any fear of that anymore, although some of them can be quite challenging. So working with my guides was the beginning, and they are now my spiritual family that I call my spiritual family. And it's so wonderful a connection. You just feel so much love for them when they come and they help you. And they don't always tell you what you want to hear, by the way. You know, if you need a little bit of well, you didn't have to go that pathway, well, you'll get that too. You've got to work with the spirit of truth when you work with your guides. You don't want any other information coming in and misleading you, because there's a lot of that, and a lot of that can happen, and I've seen it many times with people. So the best thing you can do on your spiritual path is to just get in tune with your spirit guides, develop that connection with them, and trust me, it will go the right way. And you can just do that by being 5 or 10 minutes every day, preferably 10 or even 20. Just always ask for the protection of God's light around you, or the light, Creator's light, and see yourself in a bubble of light. And then just begin to listen, to feel, to tune into the sensations you're getting. And I'm certain they will do everything they can to make contact with you, because that's what they want as well. And so we have to remember that working with them, they want the contact as much as we do. And the thing about our guides, which I'd like to say, is they're very, very non-judgmental. They're not going to judge you because of what you do or how you think or act. They might say to you, well, maybe you shouldn't have gone that way, or they know you've got to learn your own lessons and you've got to work it out for yourself, but they are so non-judgmental. They love you unconditionally and fully accept you as you are. And that's how they teach us to be like that with ourselves as well. So I'm trying to think of some of the memories I've got with them, such a lot. That's the other thing, I get visions as well, really high quality visions. I will talk about that in another video. So I'll often see them in vision, but when I see a vision, like I can remember that vision that I had, and my guide sitting on my bed comforting me when I was 19 years old. I can remember the clothes she had on, the things she said, and the energy. So visions, I never forget them because they're very real, a very real way of tapping into the spirit world. It's like the energy opens and it comes through, and that's how it comes through for me. The value of working with you guides, I can't ever begin to say, really, because it's just so rewarding. I do have a lot of guides now that come to me, but there are some guides that are your main guides. And the guide that came to comfort me, she's my helper and my very good friend in the spirit world. And she's a high being in a way. She's a pure soul. Well, she used to touch me on the head to let me know that she was around, and I'd always say hello and say her name. And it would be quite, obvious that this was happening. You couldn't mistake it. But one particular night when my children were young, I lit a candle to meditate in bed, something you probably should never do. But I did also have a light on, a little lamp near the candle, and it had a sort of a cloth lampshade. Well, what happened with the lampshade, I wasn't really thinking about it. I think I just started to get the sensation of my guide touching the top of my head. So I said, oh, hello, how are you, as you do. And then she would touch me again, stronger. And I said, yes, I know you're there, I can feel it. But I was kind of ignoring the message, really. Then she got very strong, ruffled my hair, and it just honestly felt like she was in the room in person, because she actually ruffled my hair. And I said, so I looked up and I said, what are you telling me? Then I noticed that the candle was starting to scorch the lampshade and was probably about 2 minutes from setting it on fire. The lampshade was scorched completely inside, so it wasn't too long before it would set on fire. But she really saved me and my children, we were all in the house at the time, from possibly a house fire. So that was one, that was something I'll always be grateful to her for, because I know that she did, and she let me have the feeling of there's something happening here, so get on with it. So that was one thing. My other guide, you have a high guide too. One guide that is your high guide, and she never ever speaks through me to others. She is just for me. Everybody has a high guide, just like they have a guardian angel. And I remember one night, I was on my own a lot when the children were little, and I was always kind of feeling lonely, and it was hard, and I was sometimes I would get fear being on my own, because we lived in an area where there was a lot of things happening outside, a lot of distress on the streets. I think we nearly got robbed about 3 times that I can remember. But I had a very good dog who let me know, and so we got away. We never had a robbery. But this particular night I was feeling a lot of fear. There was a lot going on outside, and I heard in the loudest voice, but the sweetest, most beautiful voice, "They will never be intruders here, darling." And that's what she said to me, and I felt it with my heart chakra. I didn't hear it with my physical ears. I heard it, but it was an experience that went with the sound. And her words of advice really got me through a very difficult period in my life and comforted me, and I will never forget hearing her say that. She knew. I think my guides knew that I had a pretty tough pathway, and especially when I was bringing the children up on their own, and they would just step forward and do the most amazing things that really, really comforted me. So if I'd like to send a message about what I'm talking about today, I would say just work with your guides. Really develop that with your guides. I think there's a bit of a saying, not all psychics are mediums, but all mediums are psychics. I kind of think that's true. We're very psychic, we're very intuitive. But when I'm doing a reading for someone, I like to get the information off my guides. And the reason that is because they are truth. They are pure, 100% truth. And they are not coming from a low level, giving me energy, giving me words of advice or something from my own subconscious. So, you can be led astray by things that people say, and it's really important to me that I just get the truth from my guides. And so sometimes they may occasionally say something that doesn't happen or come true, but what I've noticed is it usually does. It's just timing. We laugh about that because we say there's no timing with spirit. They can see something that's going to happen, and they can't really give a set time. They might say, oh, it's soon, but soon to them might be a year, or so. But what has happened to me is what they've told me over the years has come true, And it may have taken a very long time for some of those things to come true. A very long time. But they have happened, and at times I thought, well, you told me that wrong. But no, they didn't. They could see what was in my future and my destiny. They told me about the man I was going to end up with, my soulmate twin flame. They told me that 20 years before I met that person, because that was my destiny and that had to happen. So don't go with timing so much with spirit, but seek the truth. If you seek the truth, they'll give you the truth, and then you'll be able to really help people with what they need the most. And there's another thing that they say too, that free will comes into play. So they could say that something's going to happen to a person on a certain day, and that doesn't happen because that person uses their free will to go somewhere else. So, and then it doesn't occur. But if it's meant to happen for them, they'll get the directions to go again. Spirit can direct us, but they can't interfere with our free will. So they'll give us a feeling if we're meant to go somewhere or do something or help someone. They'll also give us a feeling if they don't want us to go somewhere and do something. And I've learned to trust that feeling. If I get a bad feeling, I can't go against it, because it's what my guides are giving me, that feeling. So developing that relationship with them is almost like one mind. And I channel now. I've been a channeler for many years, also with the Masters and the Archangels. And my guides might channel through occasionally. And it's almost like we have one mind when they're doing it. One mind. I often can't remember what they've said afterwards, so I've started to tape it. I have a lot of tapes that I would like to get transferred and kind of get them on the computer, because we've got some wonderful teachings from the Masters, and unfortunately nobody's getting to listen to them because I'm not very technically minded. But anyway, I hope that this short video has helped you with your guides. I've got lots more to put on. I would like to also talk about the experiences that I've had with animals, because I think animals are my soul family as well, some of them. And even though I'm not an animal communicator, I think in my own way I do it because of the training I've had with spirit. So anyway, that's my message today. I hope that you can find your guides and be connected with them, because it's one of the best experiences you'll have, and it's very rewarding. And not only that, they love us. There's not many people on the earth that love us the way our guides love us. And remember that they've chosen us to help. Thank you. Have a beautiful day, and God bless.